Good morning. Welcome to Books at the Bottom of the Stairs. My name's Lorraine. I'm glad you came. It's a beautiful spring sunny day, and we actually have some daffodils and the beginnings of tulips in Halifax. And the magnolias are looking just stunning. So it's also the beginning of allergy sort of season, which is a whole adventure in itself. But hey, we're outside. So we're still in third wave lockdown. We've got probably about another 2 weeks to go. And really, it's beautiful weather if you've got to be stuck at home and you can get out. It's still just, it's gorgeous. Anyhow, I have 3 books for you this week to talk about. The first one is a middle reader. It's Circus Mirandus by Cassie Beasley. Now, I read A Tumble in Blue by her, and oh my God, I just love Tumble in Blue. Sorry, excuse me. So I'm pretty sure I did a review of that. And okay, here's a technical challenge. I will go back into the history and try and link that above. That'll be an exciting thing. Circus Mirandus is quite a different book. It's about a young boy whose grandpa, Micah, well, I'm sorry, the boy is Micah, and his grandpa is passing away, and grandpa and Micah live together, and grandpa had the magical skill of creating knots, and this is a magical skill that's been passed down from, I believe the grandfather had it, and then grandpa has it, and Micah is learning how to work with it as well. So in the grandfather's era, he used these tying skills to help save lives during World War I when he was overseas working in the medical corps. Grandpa has used it to gain entry to what is known as the Circus Mirandus, which is a magical circus that exists for the people who have got the ability to see magic in the first place. So for children it's primarily aimed at children, children who have got that kind of miracle intuition, or I shouldn't say miracle, I should say more magical intuition, and the belief, primarily the belief. This circus exists, and they get to go to all the different tents and booths and games and so forth, and rides, and so they're all magical in their component parts, and kids just have a great time. And you need to have some kind of a ticket for entry to get into it. And Micah has been at the beach, and his boot's filled with water, and inside is a fish. And this fish turns out to have magical properties, and that's his ticket into the circus. So this is quite a lot of fun for him the first time in, and what really excites him is that his grandpa had gained entry to the circus back when he was a boy, and he'd been there for longer. He used his knot tying to get into it. He'd been there longer, I guess, for about 3 or 4 days, so he really had a good sense of what the circus was all about. And while he was there, he saw the amazing flying woman. And so Grandpa and the flying woman have got a storyline that it's sort of there, and it disappears, and it comes back towards us at the end. And Micah has been told by Grandpa that the great magician, the man who can bend light, has promised Grandpa a magical wish, a miracle of some sort. So Grandpa hasn't used it all these years, and he's now coming to the end of his life, and he wants Micah to find the man who could bend light and bring him back to see Grandpa so that the miracle can be manifest. And Micah has one idea what the miracle is supposed to be, and Grandpa has quite a different idea of what the miracle is supposed to be. And the man who can bend light and his manager, the head, each of them has their own ideas to what is supposed to be the miracle and what can and cannot be the miracle. So there's a very interesting chase to achieve convincing people to get in and out of the circus. Micah has a friend, Jenny, who is like really, really logical. So she's always got a scientific explanation as to why magic took place. So she is kind of a lead ball around his ankle, but at the same time, she's a true friend. So So there's that kind of a conflict about how can he convince her and how can she convince him, and how are they going to get to the, it's cute. It's kind of a fun scene when she joins into the circus and has a logical explanation, and everybody else is going like, where'd this kid come from? So this is basically the storyline. Micah's trying to get the man who can bend light to go see Grandpa and fulfill this miracle wish. And there are a lot of challenges along the way. There's a lot of obstacles. Of course, Micah is dealing with the coming knowledge. Like, he's really struggling to come to terms with the situation. He's convinced that Grandpa's going to get better. Now, into all of this, there's Auntie Gertruda, it's probably pronounced Gertruda, who's just awful. She's just a sour puss. She hasn't any imagination. She hasn't any joy. She hasn't any kind of understanding of what the situation in the house is. She just wants to get there, bury Grandpa, which is her brother, and get Micah home. And she really doesn't want Micah to be back with her at her home. So she's like really unpleasant. She's not the evil character, but she's certainly, you know, the vinegar in the potato chips. So, loved this book. There is a sequel to it called The Bootlace Magician. I'm not sure I'm going to bother with that one because I thought this was a really complete story in itself, and the characters and all the magic and so forth were really well tied together, and you could read this as a standalone, no problem. I might just, you know, if I bump into the other one, I'll just pick it up, but I'm not going to actively seek it out. But I really love Cassie Beasley, and I'm going to keep my eye open for anything else that she's got on her writing table. So, middle grade, I'd give this a 4 out of 5, and I really, really enjoyed it. All right, the next one is a YA book, and it's called This Is Not the Jess Show. It is written by Carey. And Carey has, I really don't, she written out Blackbird, Deadfall, and the Eve trilogy. I really like her writing. She's got a good head for her characters and her settings. You really get to see, she's painted quite a good setting, and I mean that literally, because if you've seen the Truman movie with, I just lost his name, the guy who's done the Joker, he's got the face, Jim Carey. He was in the Truman movie, and that was about a boy everybody's watching him in real time grow up. This is a similar setting where mom and dad were both famous people, and they had this baby, Jess, and decided to turn it into reality television. So everybody's in on it except Jess. So that's not a spoiler. That's in the blurb, and it is very similar in plot arc to the Truman Show. So of course, like an idiot, I had no idea what the Truman Show was. I think I saw it, but it was like gone because I don't love Jim Carrey. And so there was a point in the book where I go, this is an awful lot like that movie. So it wasn't a spoiler for me. Then as we go along, Jess becomes aware of things and is trying to figure out what the heck, like, how is this going to affect my life? How can my parents have done this? Is this what I want in my life? And so we're seeing Jess's coming awareness, her emotions around realizing what's going on around her. There's an escape attempt, and I don't want to, can't spoil things. Maybe it worked and maybe it didn't, but there are a lot of people with huge investor in her staying on the show. Not only the people who are the actors and the producers and so on, but the audience. The audience wants her there too. So her attempts to seek a new normal life, as in, like, what is normal after that kind of an experience, I'm not sure. But that's what we're following. It's a few weeks or months in Jess's life. It's a nice little story. It's good entertainment. I would give it a 3 out of 5 simply because it is so similar to the Truman Show. Of course, it's a female's point of view. Jess is a girl. And yeah, it doesn't really bring anything new to the plot, but I think it brings a better sense of the emotional turmoil and the conflicts and the relationships than the movie did. I think that it's definitely more, what's that word? It's more detailed and there's more layers than the movie. So yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good. It was for my, which book? Yeah, my Woozles book club. We'll be talking about this next week. And I thought, solid, 3 out of 5. All right, the next one I've brought to you is an adult book. It is The Madness of Sunshine by Nalina Singh. Now, she has written like tons of books, and like, okay, there's two pages worth of things that she's written. There's the Guild Hunter series, the Psy Changeling series, and the Psy Changeling Trinity series. Then she's written a bunch of anthologies or participated with. My husband's reading this now after I finished with it, and he feels the writing is a bit flat-footed, and I would agree, especially after having read some more lyrical prose like The Wild Geese and Swamp Angel and a few other things I haven't talked about. It's very da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I think there's a good mystery in there. I have a couple quibbles with the mystery. Young girl, gone missing. She's gone out for a run. There's potentially 4 or 5 people who could have done the crime. Is there a crime? There's no body. Is she just missing? Is she a runaway? The cop who's involved has his instincts. He bumps into, what is her name? Anna Mira, who has come home. She's a classic pianist who's gone to London. Her husband has died, and she's returned home to the cabin that she lived in as a child. So it's a homecoming story of sorts. She's involved with Will only so much as that they both just, are bouncing things off of each other. She's a homecomer outsider, and he's an outsider. And so she was around when a set of murders took place when she was a teenager. So he's connecting with her just to see, like, is there a pattern? He's thinking 3 unsolved mysteries, now another missing woman. What's going on? We get to see some interesting, this is New Zealand, and so rural New Zealand. We get to see some interesting components of that kind of a setting against the ocean, the relationship of the people to the land, and there's Maoris and white people, and there are some conflicts there, and there's some rich people, poor people conflicts. There's professional people, political people, and then the sort of average Joe in the town. There's lots of different characters, lots of little setups of different actions between these different kinds of characters. We go back into the past a few times to the teenage times. I think it's kind of someone thinking and reflecting back on their years as a youth and just thinking, I wonder if that's got anything to do with it, because some of the suspects are from this youth group. I had 2 kind of problems with the book. My main one was the murder victim herself. Young girl, beautiful, full of potential, dead. Other people have been commenting on this on BookTube too. It's like, why does it always have to be that kind of a person? It sort of goes into the whole, like, it's okay to kill good-looking, bright women. Well, it's not okay to kill anybody, but there's just this character that's somehow more worthy of attention in a murder mystery than the milkman. I do have become to notice this more often in the murder mysteries I've read, and do find it irritating now that it's been pointed out to me. So, not her fault, but yeah, the authors, I think, could have tried a little harder on that one. And the other part that I find a little bit problematic with things is we don't find the dead body for a long, long time. So there's all this suspicion and tension and creation over a potential murder. And I guess in a way, in that regard, it's not unlike other murder mysteries where the person who did the crime is trying to stay one step ahead of the investigators. So there's that kind of attention. But it seems like a false tension, because right now nobody can be certain as to what is actually going on. So there's a few other things where we've got, blame it on the person with the mental health issue. And Yeah, in a way, I liked this book because it came to me at the right time when I had kind of overdone it on books that had, you know, a real intellectual engagement. And so this was the right thing for, it's not fluffy, but it was the right thing as an interval. And the mystery itself and all that sort of thing is well created, well done. I just didn't like some of the detailing. You could have kept the plot and basically just changed some of the details around some of the characters, and I would have liked it a little bit more. But it is definitely not something that we can praise for its literary nuances and subtleties. It's just it's a murder mystery. So anyways, I'm going to give it about a 3 out of 5 because it came in the door from the library at the right time, and it worked for me. So I hope all your reading dreams and adventures continue to come true, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.